All of you. So can you hear me, Aditya? Sure.
Yes, sir.
So you can hear me. Okay, let's start. Is it busy?
Yes, sir.
So last class we stopped over here. So that when there is a Gaussian distribution, and basically that will check how the continuous random variable x and y are related, and if the random variable x follow the Gaussian distribution pattern. So basically, the equation 67 is the expression for the Gaussian distribution. Okay. By substituting this equation 67 in the previous equation, where it calculate the entropy for a random variable y, particular random variable. If we replace that value over there, then we will get that expression. Okay. So now after getting that expression, in the in a probability theory, there is some characteristics is there, and one is the basically this is the characteristics of a random variable, as and we will see in this equation it is showing the probability density function equal to 1 over a integration of the area covered by a probability density function will be equal to 1. And the second part portion of this equation, this is nothing else the expression for the variance. Is how to calculate the variance. The variance expression is the sigma square, and that is equal to this. And there is a probability density function of this. Now, from there, uh, so if we simply use these two formula in equation 68, so what we will get? We will get h of y that's equal to less than equal to 1 by 2 log 2 base 2 pi e sigma square. Now check. So in this expression, now if we there are two terms in there in the integration portion, there are two terms. This is term 1, this is term 2. So in the term 1, so 1 by 2 sigma square, this is a constant. So now if we take out outside of the integration, so what will be there? So this log 2 base e multiplication of 1 minus 1 by 2 sigma square integration of minus infinity to infinity fyx into x minus mu whole square dx. One term. Second term is the this term basically is the also constant, so we'll take it out. Okay. So now if we take it out in the second term, what is there? Integration of minus infinity to infinity f of yx dx. So now if we see these two terms, so integration of minus infinity to infinity fy dx equal to 1. So now we can place uh, this term is fyx into dx equal to 1, and there is another term integration of fyx into x minus mu square dx, which is equal to your sigma square. So now the sigma and this sigma square, it will cancel each other. Yes or no? So just see. Equal to minus log 2 base. Are you getting this expression? Are you getting that or not? You're getting that expression, yes or no? Hmm?
For that base changing part, can you?
Base changing part is there because you see, this log is basically log e base of e. So now, if when we will take the change the base log 2, so what will happen? There will be a denominator, there will be a log 2 base 2 e. So that log 2 base 2 e and that log base 2 e, it will cancel each other. What my point? Do you get that thing? Hmm?
Not clear, sir.
Suppose that you just forget about the what is this term. So now if you do the integration this portion and using these two formula, you are getting minus 1 by 2 minus log e base square root of 2 pi sigma. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So now if we take common of 2, what will be there? From this term and minus, if you take common of minus, what will be there? So the thing will be there 1 plus if we take 1 by 2 as a common, minus say 1 by minus 1 by 2, 1 plus log 2 pi sigma square. Yes or no? If we take the terms minus 1 by 2 minus log square root of 2 pi sigma. Now if we take common of 1 by 2, what will be there? 1 plus log of 2 pi sigma square. It is coming or not? It is coming or not?
Sir, can you write it and show something?
Okay. Okay, let me write. Okay, now see over here. This expression you are getting, this expression, there is no problem to get that expression.
Yes, sir.
No problem, no? Up to this.
We are getting, sir.
You are getting. Now from there, if we take 1 by 2 common, so what we did here, so this log term is there as usual. Then I take 1 by 2 and negative will be cancelled. There is a, because there is a negative and inside the bracket, there is a negative terms also. So negative and negative will be cancelled.
So your screen is minimized, means that photo is not.
Just click it. Shubham, just click it. It will show.
Okay.
Screen it. It will maximize.
Okay. Now can you see? Now see, from this equation, if we take 1 by 2 common, so what will be there? 2 terms will be multiplied with this term. So 2 into log of something means you can say log of x square. 2 log of x, that's equal to log of x square. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
2 log of x, that's equal to log of x square. Can I write this thing? This term. Can I write?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So what I am doing, when I have taken the 2 common from there, okay? So there will be 2 terms will be there. If we square inside the logarithm, so that term will come. I have taken 1 by 2 common, 1 plus this term. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now 1 can be written log of e base e.
Yes, sir.
So now there are 2 terms x and y, logarithm of summation of logarithm, 2 terms of logarithm. So what will be there? That will be equal to log of 2 base e into log of e 2 pi e square. This term will come. Yes or no? Summation of 2 logarithm terms. So basically what is there? This for 1 log e base e. So that e I have taken inside the log over there. It's clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Now if you change the base, what will happen? Whatever the value this log 2 base e is there, it will be cancelled out.
We are
Are you
changing
getting?
log base e to log base 2.
Log base 2. In this term, it is log base e. So now if we change the base from e to 2, so this term will be cancelled. Yes or no?
So in the final step, that log 2 pi e sigma square will come. Half.
So that thing is coming. So you can see my screen now. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
PPT you can see now.
Yes, sir.
So in the final expression, what we are getting? We are getting h of y is equal to 1 by 2 log 2 base 2 pi e sigma square. It's clear right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, someone have some doubt I know. Okay. So similarly, if we take the random variable y, because whatever the value we calculate over there, it is for random variable y. Now, if we take the random variable x, this is the input, and we normally find out the differential entropy for a random variable x. So, in that case, we can write this term, because if this x with respect to s, it will be equal. The value will be equal. Okay. So that's why it means we can write the equation 69. Using the 69, we will get the entropy for a random variable x, and that will be equal to this. Now, if we compare these two equations, 69 and 70, we can write this equation: h of y is less than equal to h of x, where x is a Gaussian random variable, y is a non-Gaussian random variable. Okay. So now, if the equality will be hold, means this term will be equal if and only if y equal to x. This 71, equation number 71 will be equal if and only when y equal to x. So in that case, there is a two property is there for the Gaussian variables. First property is that for any finite variance, a Gaussian random variable has the largest differential entropy attendably by any other random variable. So that means, suppose there are two type of function is there, and one function is your Gaussian distribution, another function is any random distribution. Okay. So in always we will get higher or largest differential entropy for the Gaussian distribution compared to other random distribution. Okay. And second point is that entropy of a Gaussian random variable is uniquely determined by the variance. So that means it is, if you look at the expression, in this expression the entropy, there is a no mu terms. Mu terms means there is a no terms of mean. So that means whatever the differential entropy we got, it is totally independent of mean. It is only depending on the variance. So due to this first property, which is the largest differential entropy, the Gaussian distribution is mostly or conservatively used for your digital communication system. So that means when you talk about any type of noise or any distribution, you will see that already have studied that we always take the Gaussian distribution, like the AWGN, additive white Gaussian noise. Okay, that is the reason that why we prefer the Gaussian distribution for the digital communication. And the reason is the largest differential entropy we will get if we consider the variable probability density function of the random variable is follow the Gaussian distribution. Okay. So now,
So
if
that
you-
h of x is equal to that 1/2 log equality, how it came in that?
this term, this equation or the equality over here,
Yes, sir. How it came?
the equality only that in this expression when it will be equal. Because if the both the variable, that's why if you see equation number 70, when we calculate the differential entropy with respect to S, so that time we have written this term will be the equal. Okay, there is a no less than is h of x equal to this term. But if you look at the h of y is less than equal to this term. Okay, so that means if you suppose you want to calculate the relative value with respect to something, okay, so two variable x and y is there, and we want to find out the what is the differential entropy with respect to this two terms. So now if we consider the reference point is your s, okay, so if s is the reference point and we want to calculate the different random is entropy for the differential entropy for random variable x. So still both are same, the reference point and the random variable both are same, so it will be equal. Okay, and so in this case, if we replace y equal to x, so what will happen? That means we are doing the differential entropy with this x with respect to s. So both will be the same. This equation will become to equal. You are getting my point?
Yes, somewhat.
You see, suppose in this expression, if we replace the reference point, what is the reference point over there? When you calculate the differential entropy for random variable y, the reference point was the x. Okay. Now, if we replace the value x over there, what will be the equation?
Equal to.
It will be equal. So now, if it is equal, that means we can say h of y equal to this term and h of y x equal to this term. So both are same. When it is both are same? When y equal to x. In 69, we have seen that when we are finding the or replacing y by x, that time it is equal. So that means the random variable y is equal to x we assume. Then only it is coming on equal to this term. This term and this term is h of y equal to h of x. In this case, so that means we can say the equality will be hold on and on if and only if y equal to x. Is that clear? Now,
So means that equality is clear, but how that h of x is equal to this means we are assuming that since it is reference.
no, reference point means suppose it is that means we have to calculate the terms from there. Suppose if we want to calculate from there, so in the reference point, okay. So basically in the reference points, I tell you one thing. Suppose when you want to measure a voltage, okay, in anywhere, you take a reference point as a ground. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Suppose there is a 5 volt of battery and we find out the reference point is your 0. In that case, we will get the value is equal to 5. If the reference point is equal to 5, what you will get?
0.
0. So basically, this term, normally this term is less than equal to. That means in this case, it will, if we use that this term, okay. So how we are getting this term? Initially, the differential entropy is like this. Okay. Now, when we are changing that thing, we have seen those equations. There is some changes over there, and from the fundamental property, we got these terms. You just go through this, then what will happen? We are getting that relation. And when we discuss about the differential entropy, that time we discuss when this differential entropy value will be your 0. Fine. In the beginning of the information theory, that time there was a discussion regarding that what should be the mean in this condition the differential entropy will be equal to 0. Okay, so now if we apply the same condition over here, suppose the condition equal to both are same, that time it will be the 0. So now if we apply, then we will get those equations. So these, then from there we will get that equation. That means this term here, this is equal. That means equal means if we put x over here, then it will give the equal. You are getting this thing.
Yes, sir.
So from the differential entropy, which is discussed earlier, from that the condition when the differential entropy value will be equal to 0. So from this relation, if we take differential entropy value equal to 0, this is a fundamental property for of equation 13. Okay, so in that here, basically we will get this relation. It will come this, not less than. You are getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the property. Okay, now the mutual information. So this is the already we know what is the expression for the mutual information and in equation 41. So now from the mutual information, we can write that expression when we are taking the two random variables, continuous random variables x and y, where this term f of x comma y of x comma y, it is the joint probability density function of x and y, and f of x plus y is the conditional probability density function of x given y equal to small y. That means when the y value is given, that can we can find the conditional probability density function of x, and that is denoted by this. Okay. So now these two terms we are getting. So basically from the topics we discussed in the mutual information or information theory earlier. Okay. So from there, in this we will get this relation when mutual information in a pair of Gaussian random variables has the following property. It should be the following property because when it touches the value, here you also see that it will be equal, and this term the information will be greater than equal to 0, and mutual information that's equal to h of x minus this term h of x plus y, and equal to also h of y minus h of y plus x. Okay, so this property already discussed. Okay, now that parameter is the differential entropy is similar to your h of y, h of x, though both are almost same kind. So now if we want to find out the entropy for your mutual information is when there is a mutual function is there. That means the joint probability density, we have the joint probability density function we have. In that case, we can find out what is the probability density function of the joint probability for the joint probability density function. Okay, so can we find out the entropy value for this function? Yes or no? So this is the entropy value for a function of y. Now, if we change the probability density function by a joint probability density function, then we can also find what is the entropy for the joint probability density function. Okay, so that we find out this is the probability density function for a joint entropy. This is basically for conditional difference entropy of y and x is given. This is the conditional this term. We are in this expression. What we are doing, we are finding the probability entropy for this function. Means we can find the probability this entropy value for this function also, because both are follow the probability, have a probability density function. Okay, so now in this equation we are calculating for the conditional probability density function. Now if we want to find out the what is the probability means entropy for the joint probability density function, you can do by replacing this term. Okay, so you can do that. In that case, how to get the expression h of x comma y. Okay, so basically it will come this. Is there any doubt? Just simply that value I have putting over there. Okay, so today I will send your PPT, because PPT is almost over the information theory, and you can go through this. And if you have any doubt, then we will discuss again on this. So now let's discuss about the information capacity law. So based on the previous knowledge that we discussed about the probability theory, to extend the Shannon channel coding theory, we can formulate the capacity of information for a band limited, power limited Gaussian channel. Okay, suppose we have a channel which is a band limited as well as a power limited. In that case, we can formulate what should be the capacity, information capacity for that channel by extending the Shannon channel coding theory. So basically, it is the discrete shown in this figure. It is shown the memoryless Gaussian channel, discrete time. So input is there. This is a discrete input. This is a noise. A noise means basically this is a channel. Okay, and this is the noise. So that means inside the noise, inside the channel there will be a noise, and that noise will be added with the input, and we will get the output y of k. Is that clear? H of x is the input, x of k is the input, y of k is the output, and there is a noise n of k. So definitely when an input x of k is passed through a channel, and where there is a noise nk, the output will be the output yk, which is equal to summation of these stuff, input and noise. Okay. So consider a zero mean stationary process xt, and that has a band limited of b hertz. Okay. So for let the xk, this is the input, is denoted the continuous random variables obtained by uniform sampling of the process xt at the rate of 2b sample per second. So basically, you already study about the sampling theory. Yes or no? Hello? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sampling, you study the sampling theory or not?
Yes, sir.
So what is the condition for the sampling theory?
Sir, means the sampling rate should be double of the maximum frequency available in the signal.
In the signal. So basically, we have seen the band limited signal if the bandwidth is equal to B hertz, and B hertz is the considered as the maximum frequency. So that means the sampling rate according to the Nyquist criteria, it will be 2B. Okay. So now if we sample a continuous variable xt with rate of 2B, so in that case we get some discrete value. That discrete value is equal to x of k. Okay. So now suppose these samples are transmitted in t seconds over a noisy channel, also the band limited to the B hertz. This is the condition we have considered. So what should be the total number of samples k? The k we need to find out, and the k will be equal to 2b into t. If it is transmitted in 1 second,
Sir, you are not audible.
it's not audible.
Yes, sir. Now
Can
it is
you?
audible. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I am saying. Suppose that we are doing a samples of 2B in 1 second, and the samples are transmitted for t second. Okay. So total how many samples will be there? Anyone? 2B samples per second is there, and we want to find out how many samples in t second. So in that case, what do you have to do? T will be multiplied with the 2B. Say t is equal to 2 seconds. Then the total samples, it should be 2B into 2 means 4B. If the t equal to 0.5 second, so total number of samples will be 2B into 0.5. So we want to find out total number of samples k for a given this condition. And the condition is that the sample is transmitted in each second through a noisy channel, and it has a band limited to B hertz. So in that case, total number of samples C equal to 2BT. Okay. So X is the ripple as the samples of the transmitted signal. Okay. Now if the channel output is the perturbed by additive white Gaussian noise, as I told, AWGN. So of zero mean and power per spectrum density equal to n0 by 2. So that means the channel is considered there is a noise. How the noise, the property of the noise is that it has a zero mean, and the spectrum, the power spectrum density of the channel, noisy channel equal to n0 by 2. Okay, this is basically the we are considering this one. So the noise in band limited to the noise, whatever the noise present in the channel, it is considered the band limited to B hardware as same as the air input. Okay, so the continuous random variable yk denote the corresponding samples of the channel output. Samples are statically independent, and yk is equal to x of k plus n of k. Is that expression clear? This expression is coming from this equation. Yk, that's equal to summation of xk plus nk. And one thing is that two samples, we already discussed, the two samples are statistically independent to each other. So that means for single samples, say k equal to 1, this is what is the relation, and when k equal to 2, the relation may be different. Because when k is equal to 1, what is the value of xk is different, nk is also different. When k equal to 2, xk value is different, nk value is different. So, means there is a no statistical relation between the two different samples. Okay, and the noise samples nk in equation, this equation is Gaussian with the zero mean and variance with the sigma square is equal to n not b. Okay, this is the condition for the channel. We have a variance of sigma square which is equal to n naught into b. N naught. So now the cost is, if we want to calculate how much cost of the channel input,
Sir,
typically, yes,
sir, what was n naught in that equation? Any constant?
that noise cover. Power spectrum density we are considering. So basically, N naught is the noise cover.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now that input signal is there, the transmitted power is limited, as I considered earlier at the beginning, that whatever the input signal is there, continuous random input signal, it has a band limited as well as the power limited. So now, details we consider the band limited portion. Now we are considering the power limited. So now, what should be the total power? Total power will be less than equal to P if the total power of a band power limited signal equal to P. So summation of all the k square means how to calculate the power of a discrete signal by taking average square of delta. Yes or no? So how to calculate the power of a discrete signal?
Sir, we take the square of each point and then sum it and take the average.
Okay. So this expression 80 is do that thing. Okay. This representation is the square term with the your average. Okay. So the average power will be the should be the less than P, less than equal to P. The reason is that whatever the signal is transmitted, normally when it goes to the input means input of the channel, this time the input power at the input of the channel is less than equal to power transmitted by the source or antenna. Okay, so that's why the less than equal to is written. So now the information of the channel is defined as the maximum of the mutual information between the channel input xk and the channel output yk over all distribution of the input xk that satisfies the power constraint. Power constraint means that equation 80, and let the mutual information between the xk and yk equal to I of xk yk. Okay, then the information capacity of the channel may be written like this. The channel capacity, when we discuss about the channel capacity, we have seen that expression. We take channel capacity equal to max of all value of the information. And what is the constant over here? that this term is equal to P for all K. Okay? Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So that information capacity, this equation, already we have considered when we discuss about the channel capacity. So now we are talking about the information capacity. How much information is there? So mutual information of two inputs, means inputs and output xk and yk, we can write like this: mutual information I of xk comma yk, and the expression we can write the expression by this. The information theory, that when we discuss about the how much information present in a symbols, that time when we discuss basically the last means when we discuss about the mutual information, we have seen this is the relation. Okay, so I am using the same relation over here. Now since xk and nk are independent, so basically whatever the input and whatever the noise, they are not dependent to each other. If there is a no input, the always there will be a noise. So there is a, it means, so input is means noise of a channel is not dependent on the input. Okay, that means we can say both are independent variable and their sum equal to y. Already we have seen in the previous equation previously. In this equation, y is equal to these two terms, and these two terms are independent to each other. So that means what should be the yk? All the yk are independent. Yes or no? So from the using the equation 78, we can find out the conditional differential entropy of yk. 78 means using this equation we can find out the conditional differential entropy of yk given xk is equal to the differential entropy of nk. So that means when the sk value is given, if we find out the differential entropy value of yk, which will be equal to the differential entropy of nk. That's why we have written this equation. Is there any doubt? Okay, so that means now if we replace this term into equation number 82, so what we will get? The mutual information that's equal to h of yk minus of h of nk. Okay. With the h of nk being independent of distribution xk, in the following maximization of mutual information in accordance with equation 81 means this equation, okay, that we want to find out the maximum information capacity, and we require to maximize the differential entropy value for entropy of yk. So now in this equation, this term is not dependent on the xk and this term is dependent on the xk. So now if we want to maximize this value mutual information, what we can do? If we can achieve a higher value of this, and what is this? This is the differential entropy of yk, conditional differential entropy of yk, and this is say this is fixed. So that difference will be more when this value is higher. Okay, that means we need to find out something where the differential entropy is as more as possible. And we have seen the differential entropy is maximum when we consider the yk is the Gaussian random variables. We already told about this, the property. This is the property where it is says the Gaussian random variable, the differential largest differential entropy may achieve. So that's why we consider the yk. So this term is there that h of yk is a maximum when yk has a Gaussian random variables. So it is observed that since okay, so the correspondingly in equation, if we place those terms in equation 81 means 81, we can write C equal to mutual information is this for a Gaussian xk and E of xk square that's equal to P. So that means what is the capacity, information capacity you can find out by considering these two conditions, and definitely this is here mutual information. So now the evaluation of the discuss about the how to evaluate the capacity, information capacity in the three stages. First, what is there? The variance of sample yk of a channel output equals to P plus sigma square. Okay, which is the consequence of the fact that random variable x and n are statistically independent. Already I told about this. So now if we replace the value of n naught, the power or sigma square, this is the variance of yk and this is the value. So now if we replace that value in this equation, yeah, in this equation, sigma square is replaced by the P plus sigma square. So we'll get that expression. Okay. Okay. Second thing, the variance of a noisy channel nk equals to sigma square, and hence from the equation 7 we can write also h of nk equal to this term. So that means we need to find out what is the variance of two signals. One is the for yk, and we have seen the variance for the yk equal to P plus sigma square, and we know this the variance for nk equal to sigma square. So now if we replace the variance value in equation 70, we will get this two equation. Okay, so now if we replace that two equations 86 and 87 into equation 84 means this equation, the mutual information equation. So what we will get mutual into C, that will be 1 by 2 plus log of 1 plus P by sigma square. Yes or no? Yes or no? So that means in this C means I of yx comma or xk comma yk. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Yes.
sir, for maximum mutual information, the h of nk should be minimum and h of yk should be maximum.
Okay, that's true. That means that as you told, it's that means we can the mutual information will be higher when this term is higher and this term is lower. But when there is a noise is there in the channel, you don't means no one have control on the noise. You cannot change it. So that means whenever a channel is there, the property of the channel is fixed, and normally the property of the noise, if we consider the Gaussian channel, okay, Gaussian distribution channel, in that case the property says the mean value equal to 0 and your variance value equal to sigma square of the channel. That I already told about this. Yes. The Gaussian distribution, the zero mean and the power spectrum density equal to this. So basically, since we have the power spectrum density, we can find out what is the variance of that channel. Okay. Now it's clear. That means in this equation, that we can consider this value is almost fixed. We cannot change. It can be changed when the variance of the channel will be changed. So now that's why we have considered if there is this variance sigma square, it may be changed. So that if the channel means variance of the channel is changed, then NK will be changed. So our motive is that now we have to find out what is the mutual information or capacitive channel capacity. So C equal to 1 by 2 log 2 base 1 plus P by sigma square. It is coming by, we need to subtract this value yk minus h of yk by minus h of nk. So we'll get that expression. You are getting or not? So it will come. Okay. So now basically sigma square already have told the sigma square of this is the nothing is the here. Oh, sorry. Okay. So now this is the information bits per second channel, means when we are using the channels per use of channel, this is the information we are getting or capacity of the channel we have. Okay. So now if the channel used for the k times for transmitting k samples and process xt in t second. So this was the condition we have previously considered. So we find that the information capacity per unit time is k by t, because in t time k samples is sent. So in per second time, how many samples will be sent? K by t, and we know the number k is equal to 2bt. Already we know. So now if we replace over there, what we will get? That per second we are transmitting 2b samples. So the information capacity of channel may be expressed in the following equivalent, and that's equal to C equal to 2 into log 1 plus P N naught B. So basically N naught B is the total noise power at channel output. And according to the 79, this equation. Okay, this is basically channel power. It will give. Okay, and P is the definitely the your average power of your source. Okay. So we can find out the expression. Okay, so P is the average transmitted power. So that means we can calculate this term C equal to B of log 2 1 plus P by NB. So P is the signal power, N naught B is the noise power. So what is this term whole? In a whole, P by N naught B. Anyone? Signal power by noise power equal to, what is this? Signal to noise ratio is SNR. So in some books you will find the expression for the capacity, information capacity of a channel C equal to B into log 2 base 1 plus SNR bit per second. Okay. Okay, and is there any doubt this how this equation 89 is coming? This is for on samples. How many capacities is there for on samples? If the samples number equal to 2b, so 2b will be multiplied with this. If we multiply this term with the 2b, channel capacity for per second will be b into this term. Okay. Okay. Ajay, what I do? There is only few things is there, and it is not in is difficult this thing. So today I am finishing the information theory. You have to study this thing. The implication of the information capacity law. Okay, that is not hard. It is your home task. Okay, so what I will do today, I will send or I will share the your PPT in this NST. Both the PPT means first one and the second one. Your introduction and your information theory. So this is the end of our discussion about the information theory. Next, we will discuss the different modulation techniques for the digital communication. Okay, it's tomorrow. Okay.